So for this year, I thought it'd be fun to set another 3 goals for 2025, a lot like we did last year, but I want to do it in a little bit different of a way. So the way I'm going to set 3 goals for this year is I'm going to give a theme to each one of the goals. And I'm going to explain what these themes are, why I think they're important, and then what I'm going to do for each of these themes on my own ukulele journey. And hopefully that'll give you some inspiration for what you can do on your ukulele journey here in 2025. Man, that number sounds made up. But the first thing I want to talk about is refresh and refine. And what I mean by this is taking something that you love and revisiting it. Maybe it's a song you learned early in your ukulele journey, or maybe it's something that you learned just in the last year. Maybe you've forgotten a bit, or you don't play it quite as much as you'd like to. And revisiting it with the goal not just to relearn it, but to refine it, to make progress in some way with it. For me, this first thing for refresh and refine is actually going to be going back to some of the songs I learned to play the ukulele with. And that's a lot of Jake Shimabukuro songs. I love playing Jake's music, especially his old music, his stuff from like the mid 2000s, like 2006 through 2009 or so. And really, for me, that was like the most formative time of my learning. And I learned a lot of these songs to learn different techniques as an ukulele player. And you fast forward now, my gosh, almost 20 years later, right? And these songs that I learned, I still do get to use in my everyday life as a teacher. I work on them with a lot of students, but I don't really play them for myself anymore. And when I was creating this list today, I thought, I think that'd be a really good goal for myself as a player over the next year, is to revisit these songs that I just love to play and revisit them not for the sake of creating lesson plans or anything, but just to play the music and to enjoy myself while doing it. And not only doing that, but trying to pursue a higher level of play than when I initially worked on these tunes. See, when I started working on these songs, it was really just, can I play these notes and can I play them at the right times? And I learned how to play them, like Jake, by listening to him and trying to play along. But I think now with this, kind of refresh idea, maybe I'll reimagine them a little bit, play them as I would like to play them today, and refine my technique around that. There are a couple songs I want to show a little bit of, one of which, if I bring the camera down, is a song Jake does that's called Pianoforte. It's a beautiful tune. I love working on it with my students because it teaches a lot of big stretches, teaches a lot of elements of tonality and things like that. And the first part of the tune sounds something like this. I love this tune. This is still one that I do play with some regularity, but when I play it, I kind of follow the same mold every time. And I think that this is such a beautiful progression. Maybe what I need to do is explore a little bit and find some other ways that I can play this beautiful melody. I think that that would be a great exercise for myself, bringing the camera back up, to remember why it is I started playing these tunes in the first place and to start to pursue other things out of them. Because nowadays, these songs are almost like exercises for me, right? Etudes that I work on with students, almost of like, it teaches this concept. And I think that revisiting them would be a lot of fun on my ukulele journey to really just explore some different sounds. And so that's the first thing that I'm talking about with this is refresh and refine. For you, this could be anything that you've played recently or long ago. There's no time limit or anything like that. It's just a matter of trying to get comfortable with something that you used to be comfortable with and trying to refine it and push it in a new direction. Another example of this for me could be taking one of his songs, like maybe, Me and Shirley T, which sounds something like this. Such a fun tune, right? Well, I actually played this song recently When Andrew Molina, a professional ukulele player, was out in the area, we met up and we jammed on this tune for a little bit, and it was so much fun. It just was an absolute blast. And what was cool about it was it had me thinking about the tune a little bit differently, because normally I do this song in lessons as an exercise and weaving together thumb picking and strumming. It's a great one for that, don't get me wrong, but once I started playing it with Andrew, it was like, oh, what if this song were a duet? And I started thinking about how could I play things differently to play it with another ukulele player. Whether I do something by myself and record myself and play two parts, or I'm jamming with somebody like Andrew, I think that would be a really great way to refresh and refine this type of idea. So for me, that's my first goal for 2025, is I'm going to refresh a lot of these old songs that I used to play and love to play. I'm going to refine them in a different direction. Maybe instead of just trying to make them sound just like Jake, as I did many years ago when I was learning the ukulele, maybe I'll try to put my own spin on them and work through them just to create a different type of sound. And so that's my goal number one. Goal number two. So number one was refresh and refine. Find something old and revisit it, right? Well, goal number two is discover and explore. What I mean by this is being able to go through and find things that are in line with what your goals are for yourself as a player. Find things that allow you to pursue new things as on your ukulele journey. For me, on this, well, I'm a tenor high G player for the most part. If you watch my videos or anything else, you've probably seen that before. But I actually recently got a baritone ukulele. This beautiful Oli ukulele. I got this, I think, in April of last year, and I started playing it a lot. Really have enjoyed it. And with that, I kind of made the goal of, hey, I'm going to do more baritone. I need more baritone in my life. So my goal with Discover and Explore is to make a baritone album. So I think this is a little bit of an announcement in some ways, but it really is pertinent on my own ukulele journey. Is I'm going to make a little recording project with the baritone ukulele. It's not going to be a full-length album. It's going to be more of like an EP in terms of how it sounds. But I've been writing some music with the baritone, and I'm going to record it. I mean, I get it where I want it and really, pursue this. And the reason for me that this is kind of a discover and explore is because of a couple of reasons. One is I have recorded an album, but the last time I did an actual album was almost 10 years ago. It was 2016 when I recorded it. That was a long time ago. It's 2025 we're going into. That's 9 years. Recording something not something that I do a lot of in that studio environment. So that's going to be something that is exploratory for me, of trying to get comfortable in a studio again. And it's also the sense of discovery because it's on a baritone. I'm not a baritone player. I love playing the baritone though, and I've really enjoyed working through it and starting to write music and play things in different ways. One of the tunes that I'm going to be recording, part of it sounds something like this. This is a tune that I'm calling Old and New, and I actually performed some of this at the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain, and it sounds something like... Bring the camera back up. Such a cool, different sound than a high G ukulele. It's been so much fun to discover different sounds as I've been playing the baritone. And that's why this is my goal with discovery and exploration, is because it's different than stuff I've done, and it's something I'm really excited and wanting to pursue. And that's the important part about this goal for you on your journey, is your second goal here of this discovery and exploration. It should be a goal that you've maybe had for a while, or maybe it's a relatively new goal, but it's something that you really, really want to do. Go for it. 2025 is the perfect time to explore that. And the thing about this is, don't let a preconceived notion dictate whether or not you can do this. For me, I'm a high G ukulele player. I'm not a baritone player. Like the chords on baritone confuse the heck out of me. I gotta do math every time I'm playing it. So I had kind of the notion of, well, it's gonna take a long time for me to get good at baritone. So, well, I can't make a baritone album because I gotta be good enough at it, right? And that's kind of where this goal comes in is, well, why? I can pursue that. It's a goal that I have and I want to pursue it, so I'm going to. For you, that might be exploring some like chord melody style ukulele playing, playing more instrumentals, right? Or maybe you're somebody who doesn't sing a lot, so your goal ends up being, hey, can I start singing and playing? And it doesn't matter if you're a good vocalist. That's not what this is about. It's about pursuing something that you really want to do just because you want to do it, and discovering and exploring based on that. For me, it's the baritone this year. Really excited about it. Got a bunch of different things. In addition to some songs that I've written, I've done a couple of little covers, but I also have all these little noodles that I'm doing. And one of them sounds something like this. It's kind of fun to play these different sounds. One of the noodles goes... Isn't the baritone beautiful? Such a big sound. There's so much depth to it. It's tons of fun to play. That thing I just did, is that a full song? No, but that's okay. I'm just trying out different things, discovering new sounds with the instrument and exploring this sound. And that's why it's my second goal of discovery and exploration, in this case for me, with a baritone. Because in 2025, by the end of it, I'm going to say I'm a baritone ukulele player. So that's my second goal. And your second goal could be anything like this. It doesn't have to be learning a new tuning like mine is. Yours could be, maybe it's a style you've really wanted to play on the ukulele. Maybe it's a song that you've been wanting to do for a long time. It could be a lot of different things. It also doesn't necessarily have to be a topic. It could be more of how you practice. Maybe you're somebody who's a little looser with practice and you've always wanted to have a more regimented schedule, right? Maybe that's what you're exploring, is what's your ukulele journey look like when you have a structured practice schedule or a structured practice area or whatever it might be. But as long as this goal is one that you really want, it's perfect to fulfill that second role. With that said, the third goal that I have, saying challenge and grow. And I don't like this goal, but I think it's really important. So what I mean by this goal, challenge and grow, is I think the root of it is to do something outside of your comfort zone. And what that is unique to you. And I'm going to share with you what I'm going to do to get out of my comfort zone as a player. I am a very mathematical ukulele player. I like to use sheet music and I like to make arrangements based on that. I get the music notation and I convert it into an ukulele tab. I go through the process very, again, mathematically, because I love doing that and I've got a lot of experience now making arrangements in that way. I've done a whole course on how to create chord melodies in this methodology because it's scientific. It's kind of foolproof. If you find the notes and you map them, it works. What I'm not as good at is playing by ear. Just listening to something and trying to play it. And a lot of people are very good at that. I've got two younger brothers who are phenomenal at playing by ear. One of them has perfect pitch. And to this day, I still message him a video when I can't find a piece of music on it and ask him, what's going on here? Because I know that he'll be able to write it out and show me so that I can then equate it. So my goal when it comes to challenging and growing is to play more by ear. And not just play more by ear, but also try to arrange more by ear. Try to listen to music and without anything but the sound, grab the ukulele, try to figure out what that melody is and what those chords are as I go through. And I know that for me, it's going to take a lot longer to do this than it would if I just went on musicnotes.com, found the sheet music, downloaded it, and arranged it. I know it's going to take a lot more time. And I know it's not going to be as correct either. Sometimes I'm going to hear a chord and think it's one, it might be another. This happens really easily, right? You hear your melody note as an A, and you hear it as a minor chord. Well, is it A minor or is it D minor? Yes, they sound different, but sometimes you might mix up one with the other. Or maybe it's actually an E minor chord with just that note, just not part of the chord. There's so much that can go wrong for playing by ear for me that it makes it very challenging. And that's exactly why I'm going to do it. I know if I spend some time on this, maybe every time I do an arrangement, whether it's a lesson for my Patreon page or here on Rock Class 101, if I first try to play that melody by ear and try to figure out the chords by ear, I will add extra work, but I will also be practicing something that pushes me outside of what my typical comfort zone is. And I can guarantee you that at the end of this year, if I do this every time I try just for even a little bit, I'll be better at it by the time we make this type of video in 2026 or going into 2026. And I know this because I've been teaching ukulele for a long time. I've helped a lot of my students set goals and set goals outside of their comfort zones. And when they work at it, they always make progress. And I know that I'll make progress with this. I just have to try. I have to work at it. And don't get me wrong, I've worked at playing with my ear a lot in college and everything else. It was the part I struggled with and spent the most time on. But I can always spend more time working on training my ear and training my chord melody ability just using the ear. So I'm going to do that this year. For you, this could be a lot of different things. If I weren't setting this as my goal, maybe I'd be saying I'm going to perform more. I have bad performance anxiety. I think most people do too. So if you're somebody who has performance anxiety and you want to get out of your comfort zone, maybe sign up for an open mic. Maybe just play in front of a friend. Maybe just go out in public and play the ukulele. Anything that pushes you outside of your comfort zone is good for this exercise. And it's important to note that it's not just getting out of your comfort zone. It's kind of pushing yourself to do something that you wouldn't just do normally. I find that the most growth happens when we're pushed outside of those zones, right? And so I'm going to do that for myself this year. I'm going to do it through playing more by ear. Let's see what you think up of and what you end up doing on your journey. I'm really excited to hear, especially if you work on something, maybe you sign up for an open mic or do something. Please come back, comment on this video, and let me know what it is you did, because I'd love to know what you did to challenge and grow on your ukulele journey, which is that third thing that I just mentioned. And so those are my 3 goals for 2025, just to kind of go through them again and kind of talk about how they can apply for you on your journey. This would be bad, wouldn't it, if I smack that uke? Don't worry, I got 2 hangers here. The first one is to refresh and refine. Go back to something you love to play, something that maybe you've forgotten or you don't play as much as you want. Refresh it, relearn it, and then refine it. Pursue something new with it, whether that be layering in a new technique or a new approach, playing it at a different key, whatever it might be. For me, I'm going to go back to some of these old Jake songs that I just love to play. I'm going to reimagine them in different ways. I got the opportunity to play with Andrew Molina a bunch earlier this year, and had a blast jamming on these songs that I've never played as a duet before. So I'm looking at these with a different lens, with that sort of in mind, instead of it just being a technique exercise, something to just play some music with. And with that, I'm really excited to refine these tunes in a different way. The second goal is to discover and explore. Find something that you've really wanted to do, that maybe you've been excited for a while to do, or it's something that's newer excitement, but go for it. For me, that's the baritone. I got a baritone earlier this year, fell in love with it, and I decided I'm going to make a baritone album. And I'm going to finish some songs that I've written and record them and put them out there because it's been so much fun discovering different sounds and exploring the baritone ukulele tuning. I'm not worried about being a good enough baritone player anymore. I'm just worried about having fun and exploring it and discovering new sounds as I go through. So that's our second goal, of discover and explore. And the third goal there was challenge and grow. Do things outside of your comfort zone, things that you don't want to do, but will make you a better player or musician. For me, that's playing more by ear. When I do arrangements for lessons, I normally just bring up the sheet music and I go through the process using that. In fact, there are some songs where I will do the arrangement without even listening to the song first. I'll just find the music and make sure it works, and then I'll listen to the tune. This year, I'm going to try to push myself a little bit more. I'm going to try, before I find any music, to see if I can figure out what that melody and those chords are and work out a little bit of an arrangement beforehand. I know sometimes it's not going to work, and that's okay. The process of doing this, being uncomfortable, will make me more comfortable, being uncomfortable, which will lead me to become a better musician and better player and have more of an understanding of the things that I don't do as well to hopefully become better at doing them. So I'm excited about that. For you, challenge and grow. I think for a lot of you, trying to perform is a great one. I know this because I suffer from performance anxiety, and I know that getting out there and playing for other people helps me become a better player myself. It doesn't have to be a big spectacle to challenge and grow. It could be as simple as playing in front of a loved one when you don't normally play, but anything that you can do to put yourself out of your comfort zone and grow, that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to open up for chat here. I've got a few messages on the Rock Class 101 forums that I'm going to read. If you're catching this as a replay, we do these right now every second Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And you can actually leave your questions online if you're unable to make it live, and I'll be sure to answer them. If you're here live right now and you have something to add, please feel free to add it in the chat, and I'll be sure to answer any questions you might have, or maybe share what your New Year's goals are. But we're going to start here with the Bumblebard. It says, I love that you all have this topic every year. It's fun to look back and see if the goals were achieved. That said, I failed 2 of last year's goals, so I might have to repeat some. Here are my 3 goals for 2025. Number 1, actually practice a bit of strumming every time I play, even if it's 1 minute. I'm lowering the bar. It'll be cool to try more strumming and singing with the people I know who sing. Also, the is strum. That's a perfect example of that challenge and grow, right? It sounds like strumming is something that you don't enjoy or aren't as experienced with. So I think that's fantastic for that. The second goal was play at an open mic, even if it's something really short and simple. Also sounds like a good challenge and grow for sure. Number 3, try to create cleaner uke recordings that don't sound like they're being played in the year 1910 on J.T. Smithen's crusty antique phonograph during his evening tea time. I think that's a perfect discover and explore, That's a great way to start to listen and experiment with different recording setups to get the best sound you can. I think that's great. And follows up with, I guess it's okay if my goals are ongoing, like with strumming. Yeah, New Year's goals are they don't matter. It's more we're trying to set intentions and follow through on those intentions. So I think that's great. Thank you so much for another amazing year. You all are the best. Oh, you're the best. Thank you for leaving the comments every single time. And so I believe it's Emiliano says, my ukulele goals for 2025. Number 1, improve at writing notation and tabs. I want to get faster and more accurate at writing down what I play into notation and tabs. Rhythm is my biggest hurdle. It's something takes me ages to figure out. My goal is to make this process smoother and more enjoyable. Wonderful goal. I think that's a really important thing to work on and get comfortable with. It can really help with your ability, not just as a ukulele player, but as a musician. If you ever pick up other instruments, being able to have that notation comfortable, it can be really helpful. Number 2, dive into music theory. I started arranging some video game pieces in 2024. Ooh, awesome. I message me. I want to see those. And now I want to learn a little music theory to make my arrangements better so I can get more creative and confident with my arrangements. Wonderful. That sounds really great in that sort of discover and explore, right? Incorporating some music theory to continue to make those arrangements better is awesome. Number 3, get better at noodling. I've been loving Matt's lesson on noodling. When I'm playing in C major, I feel like I can flow easily, but as soon as I try a different scale, I start stumbling. My goal is to get more comfortable improvising in other keys so I can noodle freely no matter the scale or chord. That's an awesome exercise. I did do a video on noodling. I think we'll link it down below for those that watch this recording. That's super fun. I would recommend, if you're looking to noodle on the ukulele, C major works great, as the lesson talks about. But I would recommend prioritizing the keys of F and G, and then the relative minors of C, F, and G, which are going to be D minor, A minor, and E minor. The reason I recommend these 6 keys, basically, is these are the 6 keys of major and minor keys that use all of the strings open on your ukulele. G, C, E, and A can all be played open. Makes it a lot easier to noodle because you get access to your open strings. As soon as you start going below the circle, what I mean by the circle, 5th and 4th. So once you go in like the key of D major, for instance, your C now is a C sharp. And once you go in the key of B flat, your E is now an E flat. Might have lost a couple people there. That's totally fine. The point I'm trying to make is that we stick to the keys of C, F, and G for basic noodling because it gives us all of our open strings, which is a lot of fun. If you're doing it on a baritone, instead you're going to stick to the keys of G, D, and A. but I digress. Number 4, explore the baritone ukulele. I won a baritone ukulele for 2024 contest last summer, and we'll finally have it in my hands this January. I'm excited to dive into it. I'd love to create some duets that combine baritone and my high G uke. I think it'd be amazing to hear how they blend together. Ooh, that's a really good idea. That'd be a fun project. That might be something I explore in 2026 to rip you off. That's awesome. I think that the low end of the baritone with the high G would really blend well. My favorite instrument pairing to listen to is a cello and a high G ukulele. I just think it's magical. Baritone could be a good substitute for cello there. Please let me know how that goes. I'd love to hear it. Do you have any tips or pointers for improving in these areas? I'd love to hear your advice. Wishing a fantastic year for the entire Rock 101 community. Let's make 2025 an amazing year for music and growth. Fantastic. Yeah, so as far as things to help, for numbers 1 and 2, diving into music theory and the improving writing notation and tabs, I do have that course I mentioned before on how to unlock ukulele chord melodies, and it takes you through the process of adapting music notation into tabs, and it introduces a lot of music theory concepts there too. So as far as stuff that I have, that I strongly recommend that. Rock Class 101 also has a fantastic music theory course and program that you should check out that will give you more with the music theory. For getting better at noodling, what I just mentioned, stick to the keys of F and G in addition to C, and they're all their relative minors, and that should help. And as far as exploring the baritone ukulele, I don't have many lessons out for it yet, but anything low G will work on the baritone. It'll just be in a different key, so try to check some of that out and see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited for you with those goals. I think that's absolutely wonderful. Let's see if there's any other posts here. It looks like there is. Oh, hello, Harold from Utah. And Ron said hello. Awesome. Looks like we've got some in the chat here on YouTube. Matt just joining. Love that Oli in the background. Yeah, this is a beautiful ukulele. Oli ukes they're incredible. I should be at the NAMM show for anyone who's familiar. The National Association of Music Merchants. It's a big music trade show, and I'll actually be there and playing some Oli baritone stuff while I'm there. So I'm pretty excited about that. So if you're gonna be at the NAMM show, come say hello. Andre says, "Oh, hello! Live is awesome. Matt is the best UU teacher in the uke world, in my opinion. Thanks. Oh, thank you so much for the live stream and for the kind words. It's a lot of fun being able to teach ukulele and work with you guys on your journeys." Andre also says, "I love the Irish songs. There are many more great songs to learn. I'm looking forward." Yeah, I've actually done quite a few Irish tune tutorials recently, and so we'll see if we can link a playlist of Irish tune tutorials down below so that you can check them out. But doesn't look like there are any other questions here. I'll go ahead and reload it real quick. But the important thing to remember from what I've talked about here is that when you're setting these goals, having these little themes can sometimes help and can help make you better with the goals. Sometimes I think we get too linear with our goals where we set 3 goals that are very similar. I think exploring something brand new that you want to do, refining something old that you've worked on, and then trying something way outside your comfort level is a great way to work on 3 different goals. Looks like Michael does say traditional baritone is guitar tuning. What do you use? I'm a guitar player for many decades. Yep, it's DGBE. So it's no E and A strings, no bass strings of a guitar. So all your chord shapes on a baritone uke are the same as a guitar, just if you didn't have the top 2 strings. So this is a D chord. This is a G chord. See, those aren't there. Kind of neat. If you're a guitarist and you're looking to pick up ukulele, baritone is sweet because it's really easy. All your stuff works. Creates a really nice sound. But I hope these have been helpful for you. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. Again, we do these every second Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I'm looking forward to doing them again in 2025. If you've set some goals, leave them down in the comments below. I would love to hear what your goals are, and I'd love to hear the updates on them too. In fact, what I recommend is if you're really serious about setting some goals and following through on them, make a comment on this post, make a comment on this video, and I'll check in with you about halfway through the year, see how those things are going. And that could be a fun way to check in. And man, it's going to go by in a blink. It's amazing how fast time is going. But play the uke every day and your life will be a much better place. So it's too much fun. Well, as always, thank you so much for everything. I will see you next time on the next lesson here. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And I hope you have a wonderful end of 2024 and a wonderful start to 2025. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.